Hi everyone. Let me go on my YouTube and make sure that I'm actually live. Let's have a look. Oh hi, okay. You can see me. Oh my goodness. I did a test with my eldest son earlier on yesterday, and he told me he couldn't comment and that he had to join a channel or something. So I was a bit worried that you guys wouldn't be able to comment. So that's great. And you can hear me and see me okay? Happy Saturday, good evening. So it's 7 o'clock here in the UK. I know some of you are joining from other places in the world. Hopefully this is a good time, but if not, after I finish the stream, it will be saved on my YouTube channel. So if you need to leave, or if you want to go back, or some people aren't able to join at all, then they can totally just come and have a look at it at any time. I'm doing this live today. If I'm honest, I'm trying to kill a few birds with one stone. You may have noticed I haven't done any YouTube videos in a very long time. And to be honest, the reason being is that it takes me so long to do them. I have to design the cake topper. I have to make the cake topper, make sure I'm happy with it. Then I have to cut the cake topper out again and make it and film it. And then I have to edit it, and it's an inordinate amount of time that I spend on it. And some of you may or may not know, but I actually have a full-time job. Crafting is just something that I do as a hobby, and I've got, you know, a young family. So I kind of put the YouTube stuff to the side for a little bit, but I know that a lot of people ask for more long-form content from me, and I completely get it. So I thought if I do a live, I can kind of cut out having to do the editing and all of that jazz. And I know for some people, they like things to be quick and succinct, but this is just me trying to meet my audience in the middle. I'm never saying I'm not ever going to come back to YouTube, but, you know, after a lot of things that's happened in my family over the last year or so, it's kind of made me reprioritize my well-being, and spending time with my kids and my husband is my priority. So I just fit crafting in and around when I can, really. So yeah, that's why I'm here this evening. And also because lots of people ask me, how do you come up with your designs? And it's really difficult to explain. Even when I do a design tutorial, I've already designed that cake topper. So I'm not taking you through the full process from scratch. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, is basically showing you from scratch how I would design a cake topper. Now, I did a poll on my, or not a poll, but kind of asked a question on my Instagram. What would people like to see in terms of themes? I don't know why I'm realized something to your comment now is up. Okay, it's gone now. So I think I can, I think I can click on some of your comments, which is really good. So if you have a question or something, I can put it up on the screen. I haven't streamed in ages. I couldn't even remember how to do it. I couldn't remember the platform that I used. Hence why I only gave 24 hours notice, because I just had some tech issues, but I've got there in the end. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe a bit longer, I asked people what were their terms of, and I said that I would just basically just pick the most popular ones. So I've gone through all of the comments. I actually wrote them down so that I don't forget what people said. So I had a lot of people saying boys theme. So they either said a boys theme or a boys cake topper, or they said boys theme with a specific thing that they wanted. So that came up a lot, and people do ask a lot for boys stuff. I think just because there's a lot of girly cake toppers out there, and most of us crafters like making girly things because it's really pretty and you can add glitter and, you know, all sorts, but a lot of people are asking for boys. So some of the things that they said for boys themes were pirates, cars, dive into 5, which I thought was pretty cool, astronaut, space, and cowboy. And then the other one that came up a lot was pumpkin spice or pumpkin themed autumn pumpkin, so that also came up. So you guys let me know, hi Leona from New York, what you'd be interested in me designing today. And I genuinely looked at these 15 minutes before the live because I didn't want to get too much into my own head. I just wanted to just be as spontaneous and as authentic as possible. So it's either a boys theme or pumpkin / autumn. So those were the two things that came up. There was another one which was K-pop Demon Hunters. I did say I'm not able to do any copyright. As a Cricut community leader, I can't be seen to be encouraging people to do things that are illegal. But I sometimes will do like a play on, for example, Barbie. I did Barbie. I never used any Barbie imagery, but I kind of used things that people would associate with Barbie. So I've got Lauren who says boys, Lorraine has said autumn, Lisa said autumn. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to vote. So it's either a boys theme or an autumn pumpkin spiced theme, which is making me think everyone's getting into that mode of going into autumn and the summer to be over, but there you go. So quite a few autumns. I don't know how many of you are actually on here at the moment, 18. Boys, autumn. So far, I think that autumn is winning from Denmark. Hi, Connie. Thank you. So far, I've had a couple of boys, but mainly autumn. So Lisa, she's losing connection. And so I hope that others aren't having the same experience. Let me know if you're having any issues with connectivity. Let me see. So Joyce said she'll go with the majority. So it seems like keeps dropping too. That's not good. I mean, I'm home and I'm connected to the internet, so there shouldn't be any issues at my end. So it might be you guys. I don't know. Thanks, Lorraine. Yeah, so I think most of you have voted then. So let me just go back. So I've had 1 boys, 2 boys, mainly. Hi from South Africa. Wow, people from all over the world. That's amazing. So far, it's looking like autumn pumpkin theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my design space. Yeah, Maria, I think you've nailed it. So I'm going to open up my design space. And then but can hear you. Okay. I'm watching myself, which is a bit of a weird thing, and it seems okay. So I think hopefully majority of you can see and hear me. So let me open up my design space. Then I'm gonna share my screen and hopefully you're able to see my screen. So 4, okay. So I think majority of you are saying autumn, so that's fine. Let me share my screen. Yesterday when I did this, I think I have to add design space. I have to put design space after I go to share. Let's see if it comes up now. I had this issue yesterday where it wasn't finding design space. So let me make sure. I'm going to try again, still not finding it. Bear with me a second, we'll get there. 2 people from South Africa, amazing. So my design space, for some reason, is not being picked up. It will eventually get there. Let's go. Oh, also, just to say, my husband's out this evening and Eve is upstairs playing with her brothers, but at some point she will probably join me down here. Hopefully she's not too loud. Right, I've got my design space now. Perfect. So I need to share. Okay. And I'm just gonna move. There we go. Okay. So let me know if you can see my design space or not. Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, okay. So I have to keep an eye on the comments on my phone because once I go over to design space, I can't see the comments on here, which isn't ideal. But hopefully I can keep up with the comments. So let's get started. So I'm going to go to a new project. And normally what I do is I go into images, and literally this is how I start any project. So the theme is autumn or pumpkins. So I literally start always with just going into design space, and then I just search for images based on my theme. So that's always how I start. It's a bit of a lag, so I just want to make sure I'm a bit behind you guys, which I think is normal. So I go into my design space and I search the word for whatever theme I'm working with. And then normally what I do is I make sure that I filter my images on the left-hand side down to cut only, because I only want cut images. The worst thing is when you are working with design space and you find a really amazing image that you want to use and it turns out to be a print and cut and you don't want to use print and cut. So I tend to filter out unless I specifically want to do a print and cut, which if you see my cake toppers, I very rarely use print and cut. So unless I have a specific project in mind where I want to showcase or do print and cut, I will filter it down to a cut image. And then I will also say, on the whole, I'll look for things with multiple layers. And that sometimes helps to filter down my image set. But that's where I always start. And then I don't overthink it. I just start scrolling through. And anything that I like, I add it to my canvas. So at this stage, I'm not committed to any particular design or any particular, not design is not the right word, but I usually have kind of like I want something to look elegant or I want something to look like a cartoon. Like I, in my mind, will already kind of know what I want to go for. And I think the autumn theme is probably not the best for me to showcase this because autumn, I know when I do autumn, it's always going to be kind of more of a sophisticated look. So if I was doing the boys theme one, I could probably show you a bit more how I would decide on what types of images I want to use, if that makes sense. So for example, if we were to do, let's just say we did, if we were going to do the boys, if we did astronauts, let's just say, as a theme, I know the types of images that I like, or space. So let's just put in space. I know already, based on my style, what types of images I like. So if I look for like a space boy, I don't know, I'd put in astronaut, but maybe I didn't spell it right. Look, space boy comes up. Now, I already know I want to use things that aren't too basic. So for example, this image, if you look at it, it looks like quite a basic image. The legs aren't separated, you know, it's not that detailed. So I wouldn't necessarily go with an image like this. I would want to use one that has a bit more definition and detail to it. Equally, I probably wouldn't go for something like this. This is super cute with this little face, but it's not really my style. So I wouldn't go for that. So I go for all the images, and I'm drawn to ones that fit the style of the cake topper that I'm trying to create, which is a bit more difficult to demonstrate to you guys with the autumn theme. But yeah, I would kind of go probably with something maybe like this, which you can see in comparison to the first image is a lot more detailed. And already I could see, even if this wasn't a multiple layer image, in terms of it's probably, if I add it to the canvas, it's probably going to be just lots of different separate parts. That is what you tend to find on Design Space. Images on Design Space are more designed to be used with vinyl and iron-on. And for that reason, the idea is that you want to use the least material as possible. So they're usually separated out into just individual parts here, which you can see, which you're not going to want when you're making a cake topper. But I would then afterwards go in and make that into a layered image. So hopefully we can demonstrate that with the autumn theme. It's a bit more of a difficult one to show because there's not as many options, I would say, but we'll give it a go. So I'm going to go back into my autumns. I'm always use advanced search, so it means that I'm able to say that I want cut only images and that I want things with multiple layers. There are times I use things with single layers, but to start with, I always work with the multiple layer option. So I'm literally just going to go in and I'm just going to click anything that calls to me that I like. And there's no kind of, there's no, oh, okay, I'm going to do 10 images or 15. I literally just go through until I get to the point where I feel like either I've had enough of looking or I think I've got what I need to work with. So I'm just going through, and some of them I might be looking out for things like this with text or welcome autumn. So I'll be looking for a combination of text and images. See, this is super cute here with this little deer, but it's not really my style. So I personally wouldn't use that image, but I really like the image. So it's not to say, okay, I like these more than these other images. It's just what I think I can work best with. So I'm just going in and literally just adding things on. And it might be that I have to change the words. So for example, here I put autumn. I might want to change it to leaves. I might want to change it to pumpkin or pumpkin spice and narrow down. But for now, I'm just going to start with that broad theme. So I'd be interested in the comments to know how you guys start an image, start a design. Like, is there any particular method that you use? Because there's no right or wrong method. Some people might do it the way that I do it. Others might have a completely different method. But this is what I do with every design. And sometimes I'll just be on the bus on the way home from work and I'll know I need to make some content for Cricut, for example. So I will do this on the bus. I won't start designing, but I'll get all my images onto the canvas. So when I've got time, I'm able to just go in and start working with all of those images. So yeah, I have like quite a particular style, so that will really draw me to particular types of images. But it might be that you just want to mess around and don't overthink it too much. If you like something, add it on the canvas. Like, it's as simple as that. You know, there's no need to get too technical with it, and there's no right or wrong way. But some people, for example, might be inspired. They might, you might go on Pinterest first and look for some designs there and ideas there. You might do something with AI. I don't know how people do it. I personally don't like to go on Pinterest or look at other people's stuff, because then I always feel like I'm comparing myself, and I don't want to feel like I'm copying somebody, or, you know, so usually unless I'm super, super stuck, I don't do it that way. I just try to just go with whatever I can find in Design Space. Yeah, so Amelia said that she uses the same process where she just adds images. So I think a lot of people, it does make sense. But some people really already have like a real specific idea in mind of what they want. And so they may have a different method. So I'm just going in. I like this. This is pretty. And add in. So now I'm going to type in pumpkin, because surprisingly, no pumpkins have come up. Well, not really that I've seen. And again, I'm going to make sure that they're multi-layered. And I'm going to make sure that they're cut images. So, and sometimes, like for example, this pumpkin with the sunflower. Now, I'm not going to use this particular image, but I like the sunflower next to the pumpkin. So I'm going to add that image to my canvas, and then I'm going to maybe add like the proper sunflower to the pumpkin, and that's inspired me. I've been inspired by that particular image. So sometimes I will add images to the canvas, not because I'm going to use the image, but because it gives me an idea for how to bring things together. So I like this one here with the hearts. That's cute. And I know people are mad on pumpkin spice, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty mad on pumpkin spice, but I'm on a diet, and pumpkin spice latte has a hell of a lot of calories. So I'm going to try and not start getting into my pumpkin spice era, but I'm going to now put in pumpkin spice. And also what I sometimes do is I go back to previous projects. So I know I've made a pumpkin spice or pumpkin theme something before, and I might take images from that and bring it into this cake topper. So you don't always have to start from scratch. So I like these little pumpkin things. These are really cute. So sometimes I don't start from scratch. Sometimes I steal images and ideas from other cake toppers and just bring it into a new cake topper. There's nothing wrong with doing that whatsoever. You don't have to start every time from scratch. That is also a really good tip. Is just find a design that you might have done before and just tweak it. So I'm gonna save this, and then I'm gonna have a look and see. I'm gonna have a look and see what I've done with pumpkins before. So I'm gonna go to my stuff, and then I'm gonna type in. Let's see what comes up. So now that's one of my Halloween ones. What would I have saved it under? I definitely have done it. I've definitely done a one before. Did I share it? I'm pretty sure that I did. What would I put it under? Spice. No, I might have to search through. But I definitely did an autumn cake topper a few years ago. Let me see if I can find it. I believe that one I didn't share because I think I used images from outside of Design Space. This was a long time ago. Oh yeah, here. I did, but I used some images from outside of Design Space. I remember this one, and it had acetate. So I have done a similar thing to this before, but we're gonna do something a bit different. So let's go into this one. Right, so you can see now I've got a hell of a lot of things on my canvas. And sometimes when I start looking at them, I realize they don't really work together. And that helps me eliminate some of my images, or I think actually this gives me an idea for something and I want to go and look for something else. So I kind of just take all of my images and just kind of pull them apart, and then decide what I'm going to keep on my canvas and what I'm going to get rid of. So the tree, I probably won't, now I'm looking at it, I probably wouldn't use a tree. I just like the look of it at first, but I don't think it would fit with, like, I want to kind of use one of these. I like them. I don't think this would fit. I think it would just look a bit random. So I'm going to delete that. The same with the candles. I like it, but it's kind of giving me Christmas vibes, although it's got leaves. Don't really know. If I thought of autumn, would I think of candles? Probably not. So I will delete that. I like the text, this text, but I prefer to have text that overlap, and I prefer to have text that have two different text types. I just think it's more interesting. So I'm going to go in separately and look for another autumn text, but I'm going to hide this one for now because I may or may not use it or some of it. I quite like these little things. I don't like the leaves. I think the leaves are too basic. So you can literally see that the leaves are just that one cut. So what I might do is find different leaves to add to this design. So sometimes I take different parts of a design, of different designs, and bring them together to create one image that people might think is an image I found on Design Space, but it's not. It's just, I look at it and I'm like, no, I know when I put this together, I'm going to feel like it's too basic for me personally. So I'm going to keep this. I like it, but I'm probably going to mess around with it a bit. Now, I really like these leaves, this kind of garland thing with the leaves. But again, I think that the leaves are very basic. So I wonder if maybe I could use more of the concept of this kind of wreath thing. So I'll probably keep this one more for like inspiration, but I wouldn't use this one because if you look at the leaves, I would literally just be like cutting out like one leaf shape, which for me, with the detail of the cake toppers that I do, is very, very rare that I will use an image that just has one layer to it. But if you're new, these are totally fine and a good idea. It just makes it less overwhelming. I mean, this wouldn't be very easy because it's actually got a lot of different layers to it. All these leaves are individual leaves, so it's actually quite a lot to cut out. So it probably wouldn't be good for a new beginner, but I like it, but I don't think it's quite right for what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna maybe hide this, but I do like this idea of like the wreath and the leaves going along the side. So I'm gonna hide that one for now. So I've got my two pumpkin ones. Now, I need to see what I'm going to work with to decide which of these images I'm going to use, but I'm pretty set on using these. I like them. I feel like they're quite bold, which I like, but they're not too cartoonish. They do still look like more sophisticated images, if that makes sense. And I really like this pumpkin with this sunflower. I think it's really pretty. I love the way that the leaves are coming off. But again, I don't know if these leaves and things would be as detailed as I want. So I'm going to use this as an inspo, as an inspirational image. I'm not going to keep this pumpkin because if you look at these pumpkins, they're quite freeform. And this is like a perfect pumpkin. This is like the beauty pageant, beauty queen pumpkin. Now, these pumpkins that I'm using on here are more like rustic. So for me, I don't think this pumpkin and those pumpkins go together, in my personal opinion. I might use this, but I don't know. And I don't know if I would use a separate pumpkin because I've got little mini pumpkins here. So this might be something that I keep as a like possible. I really like this leaf. I'm going to make it bigger. I really like this leaf. I think it's really pretty. I could see how you could use, like, I'm already imagining in my mind like what types of cardstock I would use. So probably for like the outline, I would use like a rose gold mirror card or an orange mirror card, and then I would use like some textured card, different colors. And I would probably use some eyeshadow here to give this some dimension. So I really like this leaf. Now, sometimes I get myself into a bit of a pickle because I pick these images and I build the cake topper in theory, and then I realize that the images don't really work in a layered way. So it is always good as you go along. Hello, Eve. It is always good as you go along. You want to do it over there?
Okay.
Where are you going to do that? Your blocks?
What's that? Blocks.
Is that your blocks?
My blocks.
Oh, magnetic blocks. Okay. Eva's drawing me now, and of course she wants to sit like right next to me on the table and move my light. And so apologies, you're probably going to hear her in the background. Mommy's working, baby. Mommy's in a meeting. Okay. Good girl. So with this, I can see that this is a solid shape, and because it's a solid shape, I already know I can use the what's the word, contouring, to be able to create the different layers. So I can definitely use this, but it is always good to check, because sometimes the way that the images are designed, it's impossible to get them into a layered design, if that makes sense, or it's really tricky and then you end up in a bit of a pickle. So it's always good as you go along to check your images. Now, I'm just going to carry on with Eve in the background here, because when I'm working from home, this is what I'm used to. I might put my headphones on only because it probably might cut out the background noise for you guys. But yeah, she's literally like, there's a whole table. I have an 8-seater table, and Eve wants to sit like right here. So what I'm going to probably do is I might just grab and put my headphones on, and hopefully there'll be less background noise for you guys.
What do you love that?
I'm gonna look like I work in a call center. The other day, my neighbours are having their kitchen done, which is literally on this back wall, and I was in a meeting and I had my headphones on, and it was so loud. And I messaged my manager and I was like, oh my gosh, like, trust them to start drilling as I speak. And he's like, really? I couldn't hear anything. So I'm gonna put my headset in, and hopefully it will make it a little bit quieter for you guys. But I'm sure that many of you are used to crafting in chaos like me. But I'm just realised I don't think it will work, because, can you hear me? Because I think I had to select the audio, and I think the audio will be different. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly with the headphones. If not, I might just have to continue on without the headphones. I can probably change. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Look.
Yes, okay.
Look, Bobby.
Oh, wow. I just got Eve some, can hear me both. Can hear us both. Okay, it's probably there's no benefit of me putting my headphones. I got Eve some Minecraft magnetic blocks. I'll take them out, and I hope that it would keep her busy with her brothers for a while, but no, that's not the case. So yeah, so basically make sure that you're checking your images as you're going along. If you want to go for the layered look, but you're checking your images to make sure that it will work for you, because as I said, most of Cricut Design Space images are designed with vinyl or HTV in mind. They're not designed for cardstock. That is one of my frustrations. So it means that they often end up being designs like this, where there's all these separate pieces. which you then have to, you could cut these out, all these individual pieces, but it would take you forever. But if you were using vinyl or HTV, you would want them to be separate because you don't want to layer them on top of each other. So it's always a good idea just to double check and make sure that you can use the image in the way that you want, because I've before designed a whole cake topper, done everything, and then I've got into the layering of the images afterwards because I don't want to commit to anything until I'm happy with the design, and I've had to kind of rejig everything because one particular image didn't work. So that's just something to have a think about. There was a nice reef that I had in my research. Okay, so I'll go in and see if I can maybe find a reef, but I really like this leaf. I think it's super pretty. And what I'm also going to do is I want to do sunflowers because I really like that sunflower. I'm just going to open up another window in my design space and I'm going to pull up a sunflower that I used in another project. Again, if I've used an image in a project before, there's no point in me going in and trying to find something different. If I like that one, I will just go back to that one. And I know that I made a shadow box for Eve's teacher, and it had a sunflower in it. And likelihood is that I've already also made that image multi-layered or given it as many layers as I want. So I literally just copy and paste it over into my design. So that's what I'm going to do. You guys won't be able to see where I'm pulling it from, but it's from another design. So I've just pasted that in here. And then I know, okay, this is the sunflower design that I want to use. I'm also from that design, which is the teacher appreciation, helping me grow shadow box, which is one of my most favorite ever shadow boxes that I've made. Is I've also got some rolled flowers. I'm going to copy those over because I know that they all work together.
Mommy, look.
What? Wow. What I might do first actually is not resize. I'm going to keep these together because I know that the sizes work together. So if I make the sunflower bigger, I have to make the rolled flowers bigger. So I'm going to keep these all together. And then I'm going to copy over. So I'm sure you guys know that if you're working on desktop on Cricut Design Space, you can literally right click and open another window and you can copy and paste things across from different projects, which I do quite a lot. I'm going to pick up the leaves that I've used in that project as well. And I'm going to bring those over too. So I'm literally just taking something that I've already used and basically copying it into this design. And that is something that I do, and especially when it comes to flowers and rolled flowers, I always use the same things because it just works for me. So this is one that I've brought everything over together, so I can delete this, but this includes the leaves and stuff. I already know that I want to use the sunflower. This one, I actually added a print and cut on the back of this, which was like alphabet theme, but obviously I'm not going to be doing that for this. So it's literally just like all of the different things that I have on my mind, bringing them all onto the canvas, and then I start to build from there. So I like this autumn glow. I think that this is really cute, although it's not how can I put it? Although it's not two different text types, I actually really like it. Just to help me imagine it a bit better, I just always delete the bits that I don't want. So I don't want this coffee cup and I don't want these leaves, but sometimes they just throw me off a little bit. So I just have what I like on there. But I really like this. I think it looks really pretty. It is like autumn, you know, you've got your pumpkin spice latte, you've got your little jumper on, you're getting ready for winter. So I like that. But
I love winter.
you love winter?
Yeah.
Do you? So do I.
I want to go to winter too.
You want to go to winter too?
Can I go winter?
You can. I'm going to now search for images or words. So usually with my cake toppers, I will usually either have like a set text on there. I'm trying to think about like some examples that I have here, like hello baby, or something where, you know, people aren't necessarily going to add the name, and sometimes I just add on a name and then people can go on and change the name into their own text. But for this type of one, I like this like idea of having some words on it. But, you know, if somebody wanted to go and add a name, they could definitely do that and take the text out. So I'm going to search for autumn, like autumn vibes, or I don't know, pumpkin spice vibes, something like vibey, and see what comes up.
5 pumpkins.
And for this, I am gonna make it cut only, but I'm not gonna make it multi-layered, because, for example, this image here that says pumpkin vibes in black, it is only 2 images. It's only 2 layers, which are the same color, but I like it because it's 2 different types of text. So for text, I normally don't do the multi-layer because I'm happy to work with things that are just the same color and then just change them out a bit. So I like the autumn vibes idea. I don't know if you guys have any ideas for like what we could say for autumn. I remember doing one. I don't know if I ended up making the design. Maybe I didn't, but I was doing like pumpkin spice life, or I remember doing something with pumpkin spice, but I don't think I actually made it or I liked the design in the end. Cozy vibes. There's like all these different things. Or we could just work the name as well. We don't have to do text. But I do love a good layered text on a cake topper. I think it just makes it that much more special. And sometimes when you add the name, people find it difficult to imagine what somebody else's name would look like on it. So sorry, I'm just reading your message. Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. It's always interesting crafting with kids, but they always are like your biggest cheerleaders, which is really sweet. So I don't know what text I want to use, if any. I could just say autumn. That would be super pretty. So I've got a few autumn ones here that I might just add. I'm just going to go with the flow and just see what I like, and it might be that I need to come back afterwards and get something different. But I'm just going through and seeing what comes up. Fall in love with autumn. That's sweet. It's a bit too many. So usually if I'm doing a text kind of element to a top part, I'll look for 2 words. 2, 3, maybe possibly in a row. That's normally how I do it. If you start doing more than that, it ends up looking a bit bulky, and it can end up taking up a lot of the cake topper. So usually I would do 1, 2, or 3 layers of text, and an image, and a text image. This is really nice with the lady with the scarf, but again, I wouldn't necessarily use that image myself. But I always see like really lovely stuff, and sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, I'm not going to use it for this design, but I'll just bookmark it because I think, I might come back to this. I really like this. I might make this into a sticker. So
look,
wow,
it's so big.
It's very big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Super big. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else now. Text wise. Let's see. Now, I like this a lot, but I think it might be a bit overkill to have a big pumpkin and a coffee, pumpkin spice coffee as well. But I really like this image, and I really like these ones. And I also like this kind of plaid, this plaid, which actually I probably would make print and cut if I was going to use it. But this autumn plaid is really nice as well. But I could flatten it and make it a print and cut, which I don't use very often, but it just spoke to me. So let's have a think. And then normally I have like the main images that I like. So I like this autumn glow. It doesn't do exactly what I said I like in terms of being two different types of text, but I really think it's like super pretty. So I'm going to delete this Autumn's Embrace. I don't really like that. I don't think I'm going to use that. And then I've got this other one up here.
Play rock for dancing.
Which I don't even know what it is. It's really super small. No, I don't like this. Autumn. Oh, these were two separate images. If I was going to do autumn by itself, I probably would still use this and just take the glow out.
Hello.
But I like these swirly bits.
Hello.
So I'm going to delete these.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
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 So let's have a look for
Hello.
autumn wreath. Let's try that.
Hello.
Autumn wreath. Let's see what comes up. This is a lovely print and cut image. It's really gorgeous, but not what I'm looking for. So I want a cut image and I want multiple layers. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm looking for autumn wreath. I'm not really seeing any at the moment. Let's keep looking and see what we can find. So you can see it's been 45 minutes and I've not even got anywhere near to a design. And this is the part that people don't realize takes a very long time. And the likelihood is that even when I start cutting out this cake topper, there's probably going to be something about the design I don't like, and I'm probably going to go back and change it. So it does take a long time to design, and one of the things I think people do, especially when they're selling, which I don't do anymore, is undercut yourself for custom designs. If someone's asking for a custom design, you need to charge them for that service. And of course, yes, you can go on and use that design again in the future. But there are often things that people ask you for. I know I've been asked for things that I know no one else is ever going to ask me for. It's not like it's a popular. Oh, sorry, someone just told me that it still says autumn vibes. I was thinking, why am I not seeing any reefs? Let's see. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tamara. I was thinking, well, why am I not seeing any reefs? That's not right. See, I'm still drawn to this one, but I'm not going to use that one. Yeah, the designing process does take a very long time. So don't feel bad if you take a long time to come up with a design for yourself, personal or professional use. But also make sure if you are designing custom designs that you're charging for that a fair price to yourself, because it does take a lot. It's not the designing processes. Once you cut things out and assemble, you might decide to go back and alter the design, whether the colors work together, whether images work together. You know, there's a lot involved in it. I like this one. I like this. I like this one here, but I don't like the leaves. I feel like the leaves are a bit boring, but I'm going to add it. I want something that's kind of shooting off a little bit. I don't want it to be like just a circle wreath with like something in the corner at the bottom. Hi, Lau, Lou. Yes, it will be recorded, so it will be saved onto my YouTube channel. So the theme that we've chosen is autumn. So we are just going through the process now of designing an autumn themed cake topper. And of course, you could also put this into a shadow box as well. I want something a bit more organic. I don't want it to be too I'm going to go with those two that I've put on there for now and see how I feel about them. This one, I don't know why, but the leaves kind of remind me a bit of fire, and I don't know if I like that. This one, I don't know if there's too much going on. I think there's probably a bit too much going on. I think I prefer the design of this wreath in terms of the bark part, but the leaves of this one. So I think I'm going to delete this one, and then with this, I don't know what the layers are like. If I can, yeah, so I can delete the leaves and maybe add on some different leaves. But I kind of like this. It looks rustic. I'm going to make it a darker brown just because I don't like the way that the brown looks, even though it's not going to be the color that I cut out, but it just helps me to imagine it a bit better. I don't know if I'll use this or not, but let's start thinking about the actual main cake topper. Now, this one I'm going to hide because I don't think I'm going to use it. And I also picked this up. Reminds me a bit more of Christmas than autumn. I don't think I would like that, so I'm going to delete that one. And I want to make I'm just making things bigger on the canvas so that we can kind of see them. See, when I put this now next to this thing, I don't think it goes necessarily. Or maybe. I think I'm going to go with this taller one, taller string. But first, let me check that I can actually turn it into a LED image, which looking at it, I can. So that's fine. So I'm going to add this here. And then I think I'm going to hide this for now, the small one. I'm not convinced that I'm going to use that. Now, what I could do is add these leaves, but I need to be realistic about the sizing. Now, if you look at this leaf, when you cut this down and it's say, you know, because I've made this super, super big, let me make the canvas bigger and let me make the shapes so you guys can see. Because sometimes you think, oh yeah, I can cut this out super small. No, that's you can, but it's going to be very difficult because this is going to be tiny. So let's just say we make our whole cake topper size-wise. This is 17 inches, so it's never going to be that big. It's going to be a lot smaller than that. Even here, like 13 inches, 10 inches wide. Like, let's just make it 8 inches wide for now, right? Now, if I'm making the main cake topper 8 inches wide, and then I've got this leaf, to get the leaf down to the size, this leaf is like 1 inch. So can you imagine trying to cut this intricate thing out in? So whenever you're picking an image, you need to be kind of thinking about what size is this going to end up being, and how is it going to be feasible for me to cut this in such a small size. So if I want to use this leaf, which I really like, I'm going to have to use it in another way. I'm going to have to make it a main part of the cake topper. I can't make it really super small because it's just going to be a nightmare. So I'm just starting to bring things together now. And at this moment, I'm not like fully committed to where things are going to sit. I'm just like sort of messing around with it and just adding things on. Now, I like this thing, but if I'm going with this like circle theme of like the wreath, this has really got nowhere to live. So I probably am going to get rid of this, sadly. But this is how I start to like then narrow down what I'm going to use. Now the plaids, I'm committed to the plaids. I'm thinking I want to do like a small bit of plaid and that maybe make this back part acetate. I'm going to keep the plaid and I'm going to keep the rolled flowers. Now the rolled flowers, I didn't resize them. One tip you can get for rolled flowers in terms of when you cut out a rolled flowers on Design Space, it's really hard to know what size is your rolled flower going to turn out, if that makes sense, because the rolled flower starts off completely flat like this. thinking if I have any flowers here that I can show you guys. I've got a little pot as well, like spare flowers. I'll probably not get many left. Like I've got some tiny wildflowers here, but I haven't got any bigger ones. I tend to like try to use these in project urban. This is a slightly bigger one, this yellow one. And on the back of it, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a circle, and that circle gives you some sort of idea of how big. So normally the end of the size of the wildflower ends up being like twice the size of that circle, roughly. It's just an idea, but it can be quite difficult to know with your wildflowers. But I will probably recycle some of these wildflowers that I've already made and add them onto the design. And whenever I do that, I just try my best to copy the size as best I can back into Design Space. I don't always know exactly what size when I cut that other one out, but usually I want to keep adding to my cake toppers. So I've got all my wildflowers here. I'm just gonna have a few in different sizes. I have no idea if the sizes are gonna work or not, but when I cut them out, I'll know. If I need to resize them, I'll slightly resize them. The good thing about when I use rolled flowers or when I use flowers in my cake toppers is that I don't tend to weld the flower into the main shape of backing of the cake topper, if that makes sense. So that means that people are not fully committed to the size, because with rolled flowers, you and I could have the same rolled flower that we cut out on Design Space, but when we roll it will be different. It just depends how tight we do, if we let it go a little bit. So I always say to people, like, don't worry about the rolled flowers not looking exactly the same as mine or somebody else's. They will always look different, and that's kind of, I think, quite nice. So I've got some rolled flowers here. I like the sunflowers for sure. I think the sunflower's probably a tad too big, possibly. And then I need to think about how sturdy this cake top is going to be as well. So you don't want anything that's too massive sticking out of your cake top, if that makes sense. So what I'm probably going to do, actually, is move this out of the way. I'm going to group all these things together. I'm going to group this together, the sunflower, and then I can just resize it. So with the plaid, I'm here for the plaid. I like the plaid. I probably could get a better plaid than this. So I'm going to go back into images and I'm going to search for plaid.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
I'm going to search for autumn.
Oh, that was really
plaid. You guys say fall in the US, don't you? So it's probably more likely to come up as fall. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to go to advanced options and then I'm going to actually do print and cut. See what comes up.
Thank you.
Oh, why is it in here? That's the same thing that happened before. So strange. Well, I don't know why it's doing that.
So strange.
Very strange. Autumn cloud. I don't know why it's not changing it. Let's see what comes up and if I like any of them.
Yes.
So far, I prefer the one that I have, but I'm just worried that it's too. Let me add this one. I'm worried that the design is too far apart, and because I want to slice it and only use a small part, you might not be able to see that it's plaid, if that makes sense. So
Lovely purple packaging. Lovely purple packaging.
okay, let me go back to my design.
Okay. Okay. We'll try this.
I still prefer this one. This one is a bit too busy, I think.
But look.
What's that? Wow. But I'm going to hide this. And then I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to duplicate it. Because what I'm going to do is I want the plaid to go across a little bit, not all the way. And I'm going to flatten my plaid. Oh, it is already flattened. So I'm going to turn it into a print and cut. And then I'm going to make it smaller.
Who's that?
I don't know if this is going to work. And I'm going to try and slice these.
Wow.
Oh, can you slice, print, and cut? Can you slice, print, and cut? Can you? You must be able to slice, print, and cut.
Mom, look. Mommy, look.
What are you showing me? Any tips here? Because it's not allowing me to. It's not allowing me to slice it. And if I turn it into back into a cut image, I have to slice each layer, which I can't be bothered to do. All right, maybe we'll come back to that. But I'm committed to the plaid. I like the plaid. I like the plaid behind. So I mean, just a little bit, not too much. Like there. Obviously, all of this would be sliced out. I'm not sure how to actually do that. So I've got my thing. And what was the other thing? Oh, the autumn vibes. Now, I need to be realistic about this. Where would this even go? And this is the problem when you use a circle. It does restrict you. And then, so sometimes what I do in these situations is I go, okay, I can't do it like that. And then I just kind of think, well, where would I position it if I didn't have the circle? And then I kind of like work around that. That makes sense. The other thing I could do is I could make this super small and I could add it onto the cup, but that takes away from it being a text part of the design, if that makes sense. So sometimes, yeah, that's what I would do. I would like duplicate this and then think about different ways of doing it. I could also do something where I could do like the cup like upside down, maybe going like pouring. No, that would look a bit weird. So I would take out this because that at the moment is what's getting in the way.
Hello?
And then I would have a think about where I could add my text, if anywhere. So I could probably have the text here, but then that kind of changes where I would need to position everything else. So I'm not ruling it out at the moment. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just thinking of different ways that I can use this text. I do like the text, I'm not gonna lie, I do like the text. So I'm thinking I want to use it, but I also need to think about the sturdiness of the cake topper. And if this is kind of just acetate, it might not be very sturdy, which obviously we don't want. So but I like this, and I like the leaf here. Could put my flowers up here. Where would I put my plaid? Would my plaid be a bit too much? I could still have my plaid down here. I could add some like rolled flowers down here, possibly. I'm committed at this stage to the text. I do like the text. It's just about thinking about the positioning of things so that my circle is not too out there. Oh, this could work. Okay. So far I'm liking this. Now, what I want to do is get some small leaves, autumn leaves, and start adding them on here, on these little vines. So I'm going to go to images again. I'm not going to go for there. I'm going to go onto advanced search because I've learnt my lesson, and I'm going to type in autumn leaves.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to go to cut multiple.
Yes. Oh no.
And then I'm going to look for flowers with maybe just like a couple of layers.
Let's go in the dark. Let's go in the dark.
Let's go in the dark.
Yeah.
Where?
Over there.
Oh, okay. No, I need it on, please. Because Mummy's doing work. Thank you so much. You can go in the dark on the other side.
No,
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to.
Okay, that's your choice. So I'm looking for leaves now that are still have some detail, but aren't too fiddly to cut out, if that makes sense. Sunflower turn upside down to shape round the wreath. Turn upside down. Okay, when I go back in, I'll have a look at that.
Oh no, what a come. Oh,
I need to be realistic. These flowers are going to be like super small. So like something like this.
help me.
Let me show you when we go back into shapes.
Oh no.
Something like this.
Oh no.
Now,
Oh no.
these are not super detailed, but you could easily just do another layer behind, and then it would look a bit more detailed than if you were to just have like a standard leaf shape. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like for example, let me ungroup this. Do these two go together? No, not really. What I would probably do in this instance, I'm going to change the color of the screen because it's very but I'm just looking for a leaf that has a little bit more detail. Now the problem that I have is that that's fine. So I'd get a shape, which I think I just did, but I don't know where it went. So I'm going to grab another shape. Oh, here it is. There it is. I'm going to grab a shape and I'm going to see if I can slice this out so that I can create. Oh no, this is going to work. I'm going to give it a try. No, is it going to work? Contour. It'll just be the same shape, won't it? Yeah, it's just the same shape. I want to like do something behind, but because this is not a solid shape at the bottom, I can't use the contouring. So maybe this is not the best one to use. But I want some leaves that are a bit more detailed than what I currently have. I'm trying to think if I have anything in my other designs, but I don't think I do for autumn leaves if I remember rightly. So you were saying up the other way around? Oh, sugar. So like this, is that what you were saying, Lisa? Add an offset to the leaf. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. See, you guys are giving me the ideas. Oh yeah, offset. What do I think of that? Let's do a small offset, 0.02. Let's try. No, it's too small. 0.04. 0.4. Oh, yes. Thank you, Dana. That was a good idea, actually. So I'm going to add, let me see. I'm going to add 3 offsets. Yay. And I'm going to make them all like different types of greens. I'll probably make this like a brownie color. And that is going to be so much, even though the offset is quite small, we'll make a slightly bigger offset. 0.05. Let's try that. It's just got really dark here all of a sudden. Yeah, let's do 0.05. That is a great idea. Thank you. Now, this will cut out in one solid shape, but you would just have to like maybe use intricate cardstock setting. Now, I might come to cut this out and Cricut might be like, absolutely not. I'm not cutting that out. That's too intricate. I don't know. But I'm going to give it a try because I like to be a little bit extra, let's just say. So that's my leaf. Yeah. Now, this may or may not work, and I might have to go back to the drawing board, but we'll see. It might work out okay. It might not. So I want to just add them to where the current but bit that's cut, a bit that's kind of sticking off. And I'm probably going to change some of the sizes and change some of the colors as well, because I don't want it to look too uniform. So I probably will, but I'm going to just start adding leaves. I'll look for a different type of leaf. So I'll probably do like 2 or 3 different types of leaves. You might then be able to contour the leaves out of the leaf. So I think you're right. I think for this second layer of this one, I could probably just contour out there. And then that will give me more of a solid shape. That one's already like that. Perfect. Thank you so much. See, I could have been faffing about with that for ages. You know, there's always ways of doing things. Sometimes you just need to know the tricks, and sometimes you know them yourselves, and sometimes you don't. But offset, I hadn't thought of. That's a great idea. So I'm going to duplicate this, and then I want my leaves to be like not going in the same direction. So I'm going to be adding them in different angles. I'm probably going to go into this one from now and change the colors so that it's not the same. I'll make these ones orangey. It doesn't really matter right now. What I'll do afterwards is I'll go in and like use the layers, the color syncing to work out what I want in what place. So let's have a think. How do I want it to look? I might do these ones more kind of like a red color. So this is completely optional. Obviously, you could just keep these all the same color, and that would be absolutely acceptable. But I just like to do too much, so hence why. And I'm going to resize that. So I'm just going to make sure that they're all different sizes. So I've got probably like another 1 or 2 to do. So where is my text going to be? Ooh, I like this. I think this is going to look nice. So because my text is going to be here, I want that leaf to probably go more like down. Sorry, I'm just going to switch my other light on because it's like really dark in here. Made no difference. Made absolutely no difference. But anyway, I want that leaf. Maybe I won't add that leaf because with this text, I'm going to make this text layered. So I might end up covering this part anyway, but I definitely want one up here. Maybe like this. So you can see it's like organic sort of coming out, which I like. When it comes to these leaves that are part of the wreath, I will weld those in, but I won't necessarily weld like these things into it. I'll see how I feel about that. So you can sort of see it's like sort of coming together. These leaves, Eve, have to be a little bit quiet, please. Please. You'll be quiet for Mummy. She said no, she doesn't want to be quiet for me. She doesn't bother me all day. She doesn't require me or my attention. But as soon as I'm in any form of a meeting, what's the matter? Where are you going? You want to go to the toilet? Okay, 1 second. 1 second, guys. Let me help you with your tutu. You might be able to get this off.
What is this? They think like it's gold.
It's so pretty. Okay, she's going to the toilet. So, now how am I going to do this plaid? Any tips for the plaid? Can you not slice, print and cut? Oh, thanks, Joyce. Thank you for joining. Oh yeah, let me save my work. Good idea. We've had way too many bad situations with things being lost. Okay. So I'm just going to check on my canvas that there's nothing randomly missing. I'm not going to use this little pumpkin anymore, so that can go. I'm not going to use these things up here, so I'll delete these. And then I'll delete these spare flowers. So I know that I'm working with the stuff that I want to work with, if that makes sense. So now how, please help. How do I slice, print and cut? Would it work to flatten it, then slice? Would it work to flatten it, then slice? Then change to print and cut? Yeah, I think that's what I might have to do, because it's not allowing me to, first of all, it's saying the print and cut is too big. The image resolution is too large, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to slice it, so it won't be that big. Meh. Let me just duplicate these. Let me just duplicate these two things. And then what I'll do is I'm going to group this all and just hide it for a second, so I know I'm just working with this thing. Now, flatten and slice, but that's what I did. Okay, I'm going to unflatten this. Right, yay. Flatten. Right, so now this is a flattened image. And then I'm going to grab the reef, but it doesn't allow me to slice. The only options it's given me is attach or flatten again, which I don't want to do. So the only other way I think that I can do it is if I keep all of these as their layers. If I unflatten this, I literally then have to go in and slice out. I literally then have to go in and slice out each individual layer, which I didn't want to have to do. I mean, there's not that many layers. I'm just being lazy. There's like 3 layers. But I just don't want to do it out of principle, but we're going to do it. So I'm going to grab, oh, it's print and cut, so I need to change it back into cut. Basic cut, right. So I'm going to grab the first layer and I'm going to, oh, see, it's not letting me do it. It's not even letting me slice here. Why is it doing that? Have I done something to the original image? Because now this is a basic cut, so there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to take the basic cut of the reef and one of the layers of this and slice it, but it's not allowing me to do that. This is probably where I should have checked for a Cricut Design Space update. What I might do is I might bring this image in completely new because I've messed around with it. I've flattened it, I've unflattened it. So I'm going to go into the image and I'm going to try and find, it again. And maybe I've kind of, are the 2 images grouped? Yes, they're grouped. Okay, let me try it without it being grouped. See, look, I've been making cake toppers and using Design Space for like 7 or years now. And I still find myself getting stuck on things. So like, don't ever beat yourself up about not knowing how to do something. So Derna is basically saying, maybe if I ungroup these plaid, which had 3 images that were grouped. Ah, there we go. See? Derna, I think you need to coach me because you've given me a good few ideas. So I'm going to take the first layer of the Thanksgiving. I'm going to take the Thanksgiving wreath and I'm going to take the autumn plaid, the main square. Now, I know that there's unite and I know that there's exclude and all of those things, guys. I know that they're there, but I'm an old school design space person, so I just default to what I've always done. And I know it's probably a quicker way to do this. Feel free to tell me in the comments, but I'm just going to do it the way that I would normally do it. So I'll grab these two and I would slice out. Then I would take two of those parts of the reef and I'd weld them back together. That's literally what I would do. Then I'd go to the next layer and I'd slice that out. And then I would take the reef and this and I'd weld it together. I'm probably making no sense at the moment. But it makes sense in my mind. So let's see what we've got. This doesn't look like what I imagined it to look like. Because I'm supposed to keep. I don't know what I've done here. Are you guys with me, or are you like totally not with me? Am I doing something that makes no sense to you? Because at the moment I don't remember what I'm trying to do. Oh, okay. But I think I want to contour out. Am I doing it right? Put the plaid on top and slice. The whole plaid, Lorraine, or look, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing here. I think I'm doing what I want to do, but I might not be doing what I want to do. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to try and do it the way that makes sense to me, and then if it doesn't work, I shall ask you guys for help. But I'm sort of feel like I'm sort of doing what I want to do, but I don't know if I am. And if someone's new, if you're completely new to Design Space, I apologize in advance because I've probably like completely confused you. But why is that not slicing out? I think I've overcomplicated it. Okay, I'm gonna go back. You guys tell me what to do. But why can I not just flatten this? And then why can I not just flatten that and then slice it? I don't understand why it's making me do this. I should be able to take the flattened image, no? And that and slice. No, I can't. So you should be able to flatten the plaid image. And then, do you know what I'm going to do, guys? Controversy. I'm going to find a way around this because I've not got the patience for this right now. I'm just going to get a circle. Oh, wow. I'm going to find a circle that is roughly sort of the size of this. Might be slightly bigger.
Yes.
I mean, I'm getting to the point where I only slice one at a time. This I might have to abort this project because this plan, because let me try something different. Because it's not a solid shape, because the reef is like all funny, that's what's throwing me. It's really confusing me. Whereas if I'm working with like a basic shape, it will probably make more sense to me. Right. So I'm going to slice that out and I'll delete that because I don't want that. And then I'm going to weld these back together. And I'm going to get this one and I'm going to slice this. And then I'm going to delete this.
I got it.
Yeah. And then I'm going to get these. I don't know if I'm even doing the right thing, but we'll soon find out. Slice. Okay. That was the last slice. Now it's just a case of putting things in the right order. So that needs to go at the back.
Okay.
You with me? I know I didn't explain what I did there, but basically it's not exactly the same shape, but I feel like I can make this work.
Yes.
You see, if I ungroup this, because I kind of want to, I really do want to see how the I want to see how the print and cut's going to look on the design. Look, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but let me just look at it closely. Do you see what I mean? What do you think? I think that can work. Although I would want it to be a bit more across. What happens if you flatten the reef and then try and save? Flatten the reef. Oh, okay. I don't quite know. Flatten the reef and then slice it, or flatten the reef? What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't know. I'm feeling so unprofessional right now. But literally, this is what I would be doing if I was designing it. And it's an hour and a half in, and I'm still not finished this design, guys. Right. So these rolled flowers will go somewhere down here, right?
Oh yes.
I don't know if the sizes are going to be right, but I will try and work something out. Okay.
Mommy, look.
What have you got there? Very good. Okay. So this is like the main design. We're just going to go with this. I mean, I didn't explain how I did that, but basically I just sliced out the print and cut image, which was in layers, just with a half a semicircle, and then I just put it behind here, which is not perfect, but it will have to do. What I probably should have done is kept that whole circle, and then I could have made that the acetate. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge afterwards. So now let's work on our text. So with the text, annoyingly, it's one image. Ideally, I'm going to want to separate these out because I want the autumn and I want the glow to be two different colors. So what I normally do is I duplicate, I align, and I center.
Oh, yeah.
And then one of those images, I just get rid of whichever one I don't want. So for this, I'm going to get rid of the bottom, the glow part. I'm going to get rid of the glow. And what am I doing? So that one I've got the autumn. So then for the one that's got the autumn, I need to get rid of the. I'm thinking myself now. So for the all right. So for the top, the one that's got both, I need to get rid of the autumn, and then I'll have two separate words. Don't know if that makes sense. And then technically I could split this into three, couldn't I? Because there's also this little thing. So let me just change the color so that it makes a bit more sense. So you can see now that it's two separate images, but I'm also going to duplicate it again. And then I'm going to align these two. And then I'm going to get rid of the thing from this one. And I'm going to get rid of the glow from this one.
I cut it like a girl.
I might not be making sense, but if you go back to my Valentine's live, where I made the Valentine's cake topper, I did this in that. So it shows more detail in terms of like how that's not right. So now I can change the color of that. See, so I've got three different colors, whereas before it was just like a solid. So this is, you picked it up.
Yeah.
So now this is, let me just make sure, I need to get rid of the here. So now this is three different images, three different layers. So I can cut out all of them in different colors, if that makes sense. I'm going to do an offset, but I'm going to make this quite a lot bigger because the bigger your image is, the more intricate your offset comes out. So I'm going to make the offset. I'm going to start with 0.08 and I'm just going to see if I like the way it looks or not. I'll try 0.09 because we're going to make this smaller. So I don't want for it to be too thin. I might make it 1. I think 0.0. I think 0.09 might be a bit too thin when I make it the whole text smaller. So I'm going to make it 0.1. And then I'm just going to apply a few more offsets. I'm just going to add like random colors. And then I can sort the colors out when I'm more happy with if I'm happy with the final product. So I might come back after I shrink this down and decide that I don't like it, possibly. Right. So the colors are ugly, but I'm just trying to change the colors so that I can just see what I'm working with. And then I want to make it smaller. And this is where you'll be able to see if you're actually going to be able to see the layers or if the layers are going to be too small. I think it's hard to know until you kind of see it in person. I think it should be okay. I don't think it's going to be too, I don't think it's going to be too big, too thick. I want it to obviously be quite intricate. But I think that looks good. I think it will look okay. And again, it might be that when I cut it out, I'm like, no, absolutely not. It's too thick. And then I need to go back and change it. And that is just the reality of designing and cutting something for the first time. So that's the autumn. So the leaves, I'm probably going to have to like fit around that. Because I want to bring this to the front. There's quite a lot going on. So I'm kind of not sure about the plaid now, to be honest. I'm not sure if the plaid might be a bit too much. I think the plaid is too far across. I think the plaid needs to be more like here. But then the issue with that is that the shape is not quite right. But I'm going to leave it where it is for now. Now, one of the things I've always said about cake toppers is symmetry being really, really important. So you can see here that this is quite big. This whole image is quite big. And you want to make sure that you've got some sort of symmetry happening down here. And that's where your rolled paper flowers will be coming in down here to add a little bit of symmetry. I'll also cut out some extra leaves to make sure that I've also got some leaves as well to add to my roll paper flowers. I'll probably just delete that sunflower because I'm not going to be using that. So these will be like extra leaves for my roll paper flowers. And then we just got to start working on this leaf. So I can see that this is 3 different layers. 1, 2, 3. Now, I've got to try and remember. What to contour out. So I'm going to use this as a guide. I'm going to delete this and this, and then I'm going to contour out the same as this one. So I'm going to use that as a guide. Now the problem is I can't actually see the shape that I'm trying to use as a guide. So that's a bit annoying. But I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me do that first. I'm just doing it on memory. I'm trying to copy the one that I have. see if it's the same. And this is why I said about making sure that the image that you use can actually be contoured out. I'm literally just doing this on memory so that I can mirror this as much as possible. And it is a tad bit tedious. I think I've done it wrong already. So that one is not supposed to be done, it's that one. So contouring tool is always a great tool to use, but obviously doing this does add a lot of time to design your project. Sometimes you're lucky and you find images that are already layered in the way that you want them to be, but I found that's not really the case so much on Design Space. It does tend to be geared more towards vinyl and HTV crafters, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. So looking at this now, yeah, it's the same. So I'm going to make this into the orange one. And then I just need to duplicate this and hide all the contours. And then that will be the back orange layer, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to have 3 layers like this, rather than 3 layers like this. And that's what I mean by turning it into a layered image. This is a layered image, the first one, but it's not layered in the way that we want it to be. So there's my leaf. Now I could apply offset to this leaf. I could not apply offset to this leaf. I don't know if I'm going to. I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. Yes, baby?
I want jungle. I want a jungle toy.
A jungle toy?
Yeah.
Oh. So I'm gonna put this behind the pumpkin spice thing. Oh, it didn't quite go where I wanted it to. Oh, it's not going back. Why is it not going all the way back? Right, I'm just gonna send it to the back. But it's not really, I don't want it to be that far at the back. I'm finding this at the moment that whenever I'm trying to move things like in Design Space to the appropriate place I want, it's not really working. I don't know if anyone else has had that problem. It just like, it's not moving. It's not moving to where I want it to be. I want it to be behind the pumpkin spice latte, or in front of that, or behind it. But it's not really going. I don't know why. It's very annoying. But anyway, let's work on this now, and then we can start bringing the final thing together. I'm sorry that this is taking so long. Lisa's like, save it, save it, save it. Okay, I'll save it. Okay. Now, this one might be a little bit more complicated. Or not. So I normally start off with the main image so I can kind of see what it looks like right side by side. And then I normally ungroup one of them. And then I can start thinking about how am I going to layer this up. So what I might do is slice this out. So now I've got, does that make sense? Now I've got this, and then I can duplicate this and then contour out, change it to orange, and then contour out all of the parts. So I'm going to do my pumpkin 2 different oranges. So I'm going to do like I'm not going to do all of them, contour all of them out. And I'm sorry if I'm not making any sense at the moment. But if I go through all of the techniques with you in detail, we'll be here for 5 hours. So I'm just hoping that what I'm saying makes some sort of sense. It's really difficult. This is quite a fiddly image. So at the moment, I'm just using the other panel to decide what colors I want them, which layers I want to take out. Because when I tried to do it over here, it was being a bit weird. And I'm thinking I might have to do a part 2 with you, because at this rate, we'll be here till midnight. And I'm going to need to put Eve to bed soon. Let me send this to the back.
Well,
that would make it a bit easier for me to see. So let me contour out. Let's do orange one. I'm very confused now. Oh, it's at the bottom here. Okay. So I'm probably just doing too much. What I could just do, like literally, is just for the sake of getting you through this tutorial, I'm just going to make them all the same color. It's not what I would normally do. I would normally make these all different oranges, but for our mental health, we are just going to do it one color for now.
what is it gonna do? What is it gonna do? What is happening?
And I probably will still go back in and tweak this design a little bit, but I just want to be able to show you.
Yeah? Where are we?
So I can
Where are we
this.
going now? Where am I now?
No.
Ah! Huh?
And that will go on top like that.
Huh?
And that will go on top. Now I could slice this out through here.
What's going on? What is happening?
Which I probably will do. I'll probably take this and the black. This one? No, not this one. I need to find the right. I need to find the right one that I'm working with. Where is it? Is it this one? No. Is it? I'm trying to find the correct. Oh yeah, and I've got all these things here which are hidden, so I'm going to delete all these now because I know I'm not going to use them, and it's just taking up space on my canvas that I don't need. So all these images that I previously had on because I wanted to maybe use them later, I'm just going to go in and delete because it's just another thing on my canvas confusing me even more. All right, okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take this and I'm going to slice that out. I'm going to send that to the back. Oh, I deleted it by accident. I'm going to send that to the back. Oh, what did I do here? Did I do something wrong? Oh, there we go. And then I want to duplicate this. And I want to hide the white parts. And you know what? I might even hide some of this parts of the straw so that the straw is also some parts of white, if that makes sense. And I'm going to make this white. I could probably just contour out everything, couldn't I? Apart from, I'm going to hide all the contours actually. And then I'm going to take out 2 of these parts of it. So I'm going to get this and then I'm going to put this behind here. Oh no, I didn't. Should not have contoured everything. Right.
The microphone. What? They have slime.
So, okay, there's some part missing here, which is like these little bits, but I actually prefer the way it looks with the white and the white. And what I'll do when I've got more time is I'll go into these pumpkins and contour out a bit more, so that I've probably got one more layer which will have different oranges. But that's that done. So I'm going to group this together. And then I'm going to find my original design, which is here. And I'm going to grab this and replace this with that. I'm going to hide, I'm just going to hide this image for now because I might come back to it. But basically, I just need to find that pumpkin spice latte and hide that one. Okay. So now we've got our new and improved pumpkin spice latte. The leaf is still not in the right place, and I don't quite know how to get it where I want it to be, which is really annoying. It's right at the back, and I don't want it to be at the back. So bring it to the, see, even when I bring it to the front, it doesn't come to the front. I'm not quite sure why it's doing that. Oh my, I'm on the wrong leaf. Oh, that could be why. Okay, arrange. I'm gonna bring that to the front, and then I'm gonna arrange it and send back. And then I'm gonna take the reef and I'm gonna send that to the back. And then I also need to take this thing and I need to send it to the back. So you can sort of see now that it's coming together. Eve wants to show you her things, but she's actually got like no clothes on. So that's not going to work. Okay. So now we've kind of got our sort of main design. I'm just going to hide these flowers for now because I'm not going to be welding those into anything. So I'm going to hide all my 3D flowers. And now I'm going to also hide my plaid thing. And I'm also going to hide my flower because these are the only things that I want to weld in. Everything else, I don't want to weld in, if that makes sense. I don't want to weld into a core shape. That's going to be the background. Just looking at where I'm positioning this in terms of in relation to the actual pumpkin spice latte. And I think that looks okay. The leaf is a bit of a shame because I feel like the leaf is a bit lost here. So I might actually move the leaf over here. But again, I just need to think about symmetry. So I'm going to duplicate this leaf and I'm going to put it down here. So then it's like I've got a bit more symmetry going on because remember at the top here we've got the sunflower, which I can't seem to find at the moment, but we've got the sunflower up here, which gives us a bit more symmetry. I may actually find the sunflower and I may weld the sunflower in actually, but I don't know if the sizing of it's going to be right. And this is what I mean. I would have to cut this out and I'd still have to mess around with it a little bit. It might not be working in the way that I want it to work. So I'm just trying to find out. There we are. That's what I was looking for. I definitely won't weld in. I definitely won't weld in the leaves. I never weld in the leaves because I find that the leaves are best worked with in an organic way. So I'm going to hide the leaves, and I'm just going to maybe weld in the sunflower. Just for two reasons. To help people know where to position, but also to give it a bit more stability. So I'm going to take all of this. And oh wait, I've realized there's no leaf up here now. So I'm probably going to duplicate and add another leaf up here. Maybe make it a bit smaller. Something like that, maybe. Maybe like that. And then I'm going to just kind of think a bit about the symmetry of this cake topper. I kind of want the bottom parts to be in line, if that makes sense. So the bottom part of, I'm showing you on my screen, but you guys can't see. But the bottom part of the lowest pumpkin on the pumpkin spice latte, I kind of want to be at the same level as the leaves. But remember, down here, we're going to add some rolled flowers, and we're also going to add some random, the other leaves, the ones that I just cut out that are singular layer. So I can also always create some more dimension there. Now, the only thing I would want to consider is this, if I weld this together, it gives the cake topper stability. If I weld in that sunflower and I weld in all of the leaves, it's going to make the cake topper a lot more sturdy, which is good. So I want to try and make the text kind of touch as much as it can without taking up too much of the cream on the, what do I call this? The cream on the pumpkin spice latte. So I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm going to weld this together. I'm gonna unite, I'm not gonna weld. Now, the difference between unite and weld, and I'm still getting used to this myself. I'm actually, can you see here, this leaf looks like it's not, it might not be as sturdy, this leaf, because it's hanging by itself. So based on that, I'm gonna go back up and I'm just gonna move this leaf back just a tad. And I'm gonna duplicate it and I'm going to unite. Now, the reason why I'm gonna unite and not weld is because I might decide when I start building this that the shape where I've positioned things is not quite right. So I can go in and I can undo, and then I'd have my original images back. If I weld this together, then I'm going to have to basically go in and move all the individual pieces into place, which just takes a long time. So this is like basically the backing for my cake topper. Now, there's an option here for me to add an offset. And it's one of those ones that I kind of don't know until I make it, if it's going to be sufficient or not. But I am going to add just a small offset because I do think it will give it a bit more sturdiness. So I'm going to try 0.06. Only ever made 2 cake toppers. Yeah, I do save them normally, Lisa, but I do that after I've done it, the design. I do it a bit back to front just because I don't want to spend a load of time saving things and then I end up deleting things. But that would make sense if I name all of the different groups. But normally I'm not doing this live, so I just mess about with it. I'm happy that you find it helpful, Lauren. By any chance, are you adding a light on the cake topper? I'm not going to add a light. I mean, you could do, but I don't think for this particular cake topper I would add a light, but you can definitely do. I think autumn glow for me means like I'm all cozy, I'm going into autumn, I've got my pumpkin spice latte, I've got my little, roll neck jumper, I'm feeling, that's what it means for me. But you could definitely add a light to this. There's no harm in doing that. So I'm just at the moment trying to work out like my offset. What do I want my offset to be?
Oh, I got a hammer.
You got a hammer?
Yeah.
I want it to be like quite a thin offset. Like really thin, where it's like kind of almost not detectable, but it's there. Because I like this idea of things floating. If I'm adding really thick offsets, it just kind of takes away from that. So I'm going to add a really small offset. Now, it might be that actually once I put this together, I'm like, you can't even see the offset. There's no point. And I might make the offset thicker. And this is where it's a bit annoying because sometimes you can't remember what the offset was that you applied. Obviously now I can look back at this tutorial and know what I added. For this particular part, these leaf, like this leaf, for example, is not welded in, and I that's fine. Well, it probably is on the back, but you can't see it. But I might change how this leaf sits. You want to switch TV on? Sure. Let me get the remote control for you. It's very dark in here, isn't it?
Yeah. This one is dark too.
Yeah. Dark outside too. I'm going to bring one of my little lamps over. So I live in a 1930s home. So it's like a very old home, and my lights are not in the middle of the room. It's
in the dark.
Super dark. I've even got like all these studio lights, and I still look super dark. So I'm sorry about that. You're going to hear the background noise of the TV now, but it is what it is. So,
can I make my slime?
You want to make slime? It's 9 o'clock at night. So now the other thing I forgot is I've hidden the
Can I have slime? I don't want these.
I've hidden the plaids. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I would add the plaids. What do you guys think? I think the plaid might be a bit too much. Now I've added all the offsets and stuff.
I want some slime.
I think the plaid might be a bit too much. I don't know. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to unhide. I'm going to take the last offset and I'm going to apply another offset. I'm going to do a bit bigger. I'm going to do 0.01. And this is actually, I'm going to close out the contours. And this is actually going to be my acetate. You guys know I love a little bit of acetate. So again, it will give the cake top a sturdiness, but it will also just make it have more of a finished look, especially going like behind the in between the circle. I like having acetate, but you could definitely skip that part.
Great idea.
Let's do what? I'm going to take my plaid out,
In the dark.
and I might try the plaid. But the only thing I'm thinking now is I don't know if I do want to add another sunflower down here, or if I want to try the rolled flowers. I think sunflowers are quite bold, so I don't know if I would do like loads of sunflowers. But again, it might be that once I cut this out, I think, okay, actually it needs something more, and that's where I would go in and add another sunflower, and I would go through that whole process of building the backing of the cake topper again. So I would completely delete all these back layers, and then I would unite and I'd start the whole process again. And this is what people don't realize about cake toppers, and my cake toppers in particular. I'm always transparent and honest. Hello, not running around now, please. I'm always transparent and honest that I spend an inordinate amount of time designing and making my cake toppers. Some of my cake toppers, I never kind of sit down and design it and then cut it and then make it all in one go. But usually if I'm working on a really detailed cake topper, it takes me several days. You know, it's not something that I do really quickly. And so I don't want, especially people who sell, to feel like they have to go into the level of detail that I go into, because if you're a seller, it's just not realistic. And I know that there are many sellers, especially in the US, that I look up to that do some fantastic work, but they've built up a repertoire of designs over the years that they just sell and replicate all of the time. Or maybe they're much quicker at designing and making than I am, but I really am a perfectionist. So I know that this final cake topper design is probably gonna not be my final cake topper design. And that's okay. That's just how it is. So it's just about, you know, I've given like lots of ideas in here. I've gone into quite a lot of detail, but you have to be realistic about your time and your mental health. There's times when I make cake toppers and I hate them. Like I literally hate them, and like I will just go away and I just will not touch it for a few days. I have got that luxury because I'm not banging out orders. The only thing I have to do on someone else's watch is I make content for Cricut UK, and I will usually give myself time. They give me the brief, 6 weeks in advance, so I have time to make sure that I can do all of the testing. And usually when I'm making stuff for Cricut, it's a lot more simple, because you don't want people to look at your design and think, oh my gosh, I could never replicate this. But when I'm designing for me, I'm like, this cake topper, I'm just making it for myself, so I'm going to make it as detailed or as simple as I want to make it. But I'm just always transparent that, don't be feeling like you're seeing all these people with like these amazing cake toppers, and they're doing all these videos and they're editing and their content always looks great and they've got an amazing craft room. I don't have a craft room. This is the corner of my dining room. I literally just have a little corner, and so it's very difficult for me. If I want to do a live or I want to do something, I literally have to confine the rest of my family to the rest of the house, which, especially with a child like Eve is neurodiverse, she's not going to stay upstairs. So I just have to do what I need to do. And I love when I see other crafters. The other day, I can't remember who it was, but she had some TikTok or something, and she said, someone said, why do you always make your cake toppers at night? And then she showed underneath her desk, and she had like her toddler under the desk, like pulling out all of her cardstock, pulling out her wires. That's the reality of it. So, although, yes, what I do is super detailed, it's taken me 2 hours to design this cake topper. And the likelihood is I will work on it more. Don't set yourself up for that. Don't set yourself up for failure. If you want to do this because you want to grow and you want to learn, you want to structure yourself, absolutely. But also, sometimes just going in and creating a really quick and simple cake topper is also equally fine. But I've just been true in this process to what I would do and what I like, and this is kind of my style. But thank you so much for joining me. I do plan to have a part 2 where I will have everything cut and I will put this together with you guys live. No idea when that will be, if I'm honest. It will be when I get round to it. It would also be a time probably when my husband's not here, so he doesn't feel like, he's again got to be confined to some small room in the house. He can move around freely. So I will hopefully be able to let you know a bit more in advance. But again, it will be recorded. And if I do make any changes to the design, when I'm assembling, I will talk you through it and I will explain, like, I remember when we did the design, I did it this way, but I told you I might want to add another sunflower, and I actually did. And it might even be that during putting it together, I'm still adding, especially these cake toppers with flowers and stuff. I find that I'm never happy and I keep adding and adding and adding and adding. So I'll probably be cutting, even though I've cut everything out, and still be adding as we go along. But I'll definitely do a part 2. And I know this was a really, really long live. So thank you for all of you who have stuck with me all the way through, and even those of you who have jumped in and out. I really appreciate it. I wish I could do more tutorials and more lives, but for some of the reasons I've explained, I just don't want to fall out of love with crafting. And I find that when I put myself under pressure to create all this content and to do, I start to feel overwhelmed, and that plays out in my creativity and in my well-being. So I just go at my own flow, and I really appreciate your understanding and support on that. But yes, I shall do another live soon. If you have any specific questions, if you watch this live back and you haven't been on the actual live and you have any questions, please DM me on Instagram. I always respond to my messages on Instagram. I also have a website, so I've got like a frequently asked questions page on my website as well. So, are you getting your mat out? So you can hopefully find a lot of information on there. But thank you so much for your time, and yeah, I'm actually really excited to make this cake topper. It does look super cute, so it will be nice to see how it turns out in the end. But yeah, thank you for those of you, Derna in particular and Lisa, who gave me some ideas on how to troubleshoot, and I hope that it kind of shows that things are not always easy and straightforward, and sometimes there can be challenges, and that's okay. And that, if you've got people in your community that you can reach out to, it really, really helps. So thank you, everyone. Oh, you got slime? Okay, Eve's doing slime now, so I'm going to go and give her a bit of my attention. But thank you so much. I'm going to try and work out how to end this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And then it's just me. Should just be me. So yeah, part 2 will be coming soon. Thank you again. Please have a look on my other videos on my YouTube channel. I've got some more lives from a couple of years ago, last year as well. And I shall hopefully see you again soon. Bye.
I got it.